Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be diving down into the charts for Bitcoin to see what's been going on with the price action of BTC. Now, as I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet done so, join us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Links are all in the description down below. Fantastic communities talking crypto 24/7. Down in Discord, we do a lot more in terms of technical analysis and AMAs, answering questions, all that kind of good stuff. So why not check it out? Links in the description down below. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find. Let's jump on down into Bitcoin here and see what's been going on. So we're just paired up with USDT. We're on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source. So if you wanted to replicate this on TradingView, that's what you need. Essentially, we have been tracking this impulsive move upwards, and for the most part, this is looking pretty good. And we've got this interesting kind of play right here, right? And this is a really good kind of place for Bitcoin to be. We've basically corrected our stochastic RSI without actually doing too much in terms of price damage. So we've been trading sideways. Now, this particular pattern to me looks like an expanding flat correction. So essentially we had the high point just here, pull back down, we up, and we pull back down here, right? So this essentially looks like a widening. So if I grab hold of my trend line here, you basically end up with a megaphone pattern. So those who don't follow Elliott wave, it looks like this, right? And this is actually pretty good pattern. This usually actually appears in wave 4. Let's see what's actually going on there. So if we actually have all of that as wave 3, this might be our wave 4 high. We actually pull back down here. So essentially wave 4, potentially with a 5th wave still come here. So if we were to grab hold of this, it gives us a bit of an idea on this 4th wave here, where things are going to go. That'll take us up to just that $45,000 trend line right there. So that might be the play to be had. And what I've got here is a sub-wave count for those who want to know. Essentially, it would be this here as our potential. Okay, so that's looking pretty good and encouraging, and we might have to adjust a couple of things around here just to see how that plays out, because this might be our wave 1 right here. This might be our wave 2, something to that effect. Anyway, so we actually have, a pretty good structure going on here. As I said, the stochastic RSI on our hourly chart is ready for some kind of move to the upside. But obviously, we need to check the larger timeframes. So as we take a look at the 4 hourly, we need to see some kind of corrective plays. So we could potentially push for that 5th wave and then see some kind of ABC correction, which is kind of what you would expect to see after a 5th wave anyway. The 8 hourly does need a correction too. So again, that would line up nicely with the ABC move after. And then up here, we are up in the daily chart is overbought and needing corrective move as well. So when we take a look at our weekly, here we can actually see we're moving far too fast to the upside. So what I want to do is I want to check this for a second, because there was a scenario here where we essentially moved from this low point to where we are right now, about 30%. We've pushed up a little bit higher, around 40. So yeah, this could be an interesting kind of thing to just kind of keep an eye on, the total amount of movement to the upside here on Bitcoin. So, and the reason that I bring this up is the pandemic crash of March 2020. We moved up from the oversold to the overbought with only a 63% push to the upside before crashing down even harder. Okay, and I think this is in a lot of people's minds, as in we had this real big ABC move. This is actually a 2nd wave correction, and considering we're in the 4th wave correction right now, we haven't actually come out of it, to see this pattern play out could be quite detrimental for some kind of flash crash to come back down. Now, we've spoken about this before. I think it's possible but not probable, but there is a huge exception, and that is this stochastic RSI on this weekly needs to see some kind of corrective play, and it needs to be of significance, right? So essentially what we might end up with is some kind of correction in here that actually brings us back down to this low point where we get the double bottom. Okay, so it will be interesting to kind of see how this plays out. I am expecting some kind of corrective play once we kind of get that 5th wave out of the way. And that looks like it's going to be hitting that trend line on the daily, right? So it looks like we're going to be really playing out across this trend line. Now, there's only a couple of touch points on it at the moment. However, we should be open to the idea that this is going to be the resistance blocker that actually sees us pull back down. In an ideal world, and I've spoken about it before, what I want to do is I want to see it push up in towards that $47,500. However, the other thing that's also worth kind of noting here is that the minimum requirement, as I see it, would be to come up to at least, this high point just here. So that would actually breach it about $45,500. Actually, if I put on there, that's 45,400 to the penny, right? So to me, that seems to be the most probable outcome on that one. So just want to keep an eye out on that. As I think that is going to be something that we want to be watching out for. That could be the reversal here after this last little movement to the upside. So essentially, that's kind of what we're tracking here for Bitcoin on the smaller time frame, right? We're looking for that last little push to the upside. I think the stochastic RSI here is going to allow for that. And then we basically kind of bring that in. So if I actually grab hold of this, I will just quickly mark hold of that with a horizontal ray, and we'll just pop that there. What I will do is I'll just mark this up a little bit more accurately because it was 44,000 to the penny according to Binance. So I'll do that. So there's our target right there, right? So it's possible that we just hit that and then we see this kind of colossal kind of correction come in, and we might test this ascending trend line at that point, get ourselves wedged in, and that might be enough. This entire move right here might just be enough to actually get the whole thing corrected on the weekly stochastic. It all depends on how long that takes and the amount of price momentum behind it, right? So are people actually going to be actively selling? And on that note, the other thing I want to bring up is obviously Glassnode data. We're seeing huge accumulations again, starting to build up and ramp up nicely. Over the last few days, we've seen well over 50,000 Bitcoin leave exchanges or more leave exchanges than go on to exchanges. So this has actually been ongoing for quite some time, right? So August, September, October of 2021, a little bit of selling pressure up in like November time. Other than that, really, we've seen nothing but more accumulation at the beginning of 2022. Even during that kind of wartime, there was a little bit of, more Bitcoin going onto the exchanges, but ultimately not that much. We've actually seen more Bitcoin leaving, and it's a fair amounts of Bitcoin have been leaving over a period of time. So well worth noting that serious amount of Bitcoin has been leaving, but there is still going to be some kind of corrective action. This is kind of the accumulation that's been going on, but it's not necessarily the end of it. So just keep an eye out on all of that kind of good stuff. So essentially, that's kind of what I'm looking at here for Bitcoin. We're wanting to go up to about 47.5, so I'm open to the idea that still happens. However, I think it's unlikely at this point unless we head towards the 3.618 extension, which is possible, but just not probable at this point in time. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you are going to be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.